In the headlines, APC presidential candidate hopeful of block votes from 4 northern states promises equal opportunities for Nigerians at Lagos mega rally. Immigration intercepts 33 illegal migrants from Chad and Togo in Ogun State. Police arrest a female teacher for defiling 4-year-old pupil in Borno. Father demands justice. And lastly, on the international scene, Ukraine accuses Kremlin of using the same genocidal tactics from Soviet-era famine. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Updates. I am Martia Umar. Thank you for joining. Welcome now to the news in detail. The All Progressives Congress APC presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has pledged to carry on with the progressive policies of President Muhammadu Buhari. And speaking at the Lagos APC mega rally, Tinubu also promised to run an inclusive government where nobody will be forgotten, even as he told thousands of his supporters to use their PVC to ensure that the APC retains power at the center. Chieftains of the APC, including the 22 governors led by Progressive Governors Chairman Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu of Kebbi State and former governors, stormed the stadium for the rally described as homecoming for the city boy. Tinubu, in his address, promised to carry everybody along in his progressive policy in the areas of health, education, and youth empowerment. Saying that the 2023 election will be a broom revolution all the way. Governor Bagudu said all the 22 governors endorsed Tinubu because of his capacity and competence, assuring that Tinubu would include everyone. The host governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, said Tinubu is the best man for the job, saying he laid the foundation for the Lagos that everyone is enjoying today.
I stand here to speak on behalf of all the governors of the Progressive Forum. All the 22 of us extend our thanks and gratitude to our host, our brother Jide Sanwo-Olu, for organizing this mammoth rally and for all that has been achieved in Lagos.
Your Excellency, my leader, our presidential candidate, and by the grace of Almighty God, the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Jagaban, and his vice presidential candidate, Senator Shettima. I acknowledge all my brother governors that are here.
Today we stand, all the governors, with a lot of pride. As we were moving into this place, it was not only human beings I saw. I watched the seas and watched the rivers. I saw a lot of fishes jumping from the water. Did you see them? I saw fishes jumping from the water in Lagos to celebrate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Nobody needs to tell you that the election is as good as won.
The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, has said that there will no longer be hiding place for oil thieves and their accomplices, no matter how highly placed in the country, if he takes power in 2023. This was Atiku's pledge on Saturday in Lagos when he interacted with a broad spectrum of corporate Nigerians under the aegis of Business Dialogue Stakeholders Forum at Echo Hotel. Dozens of the industry at the session include Alhaji Aliko Dangote, Jim Ovia, Femi Otedola, Tony Lumelu, Herbert Wigwe, and Muhammad Hayatuddin, among others. Atiku also said that he would, in the interest of the national development, confiscate all oil blocks allocated to some Nigerians who had failed to make them operational. The former vice president, who promised to sustain frequent interactive sessions between government and the country's business class, when voted to power, equally outlined the ways he would tackle what he described as an ailing economy. The presidential campaign council of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, has denied that its presidential candidate, Prince Adebayo, was in major talks or stepping down from the 2023 election in favor of any other candidate. The Director General of the Council, Solomon Dalong, said this in Abuja at a news conference. This is as the party equally raised the alarm over alleged plan to arrest and discredit its presidential candidate based on trumped-up charges. According to Dalong, state agents are recruiting people to generate false allegations against Adebayo. He said the motive behind the plot was to embarrass him ahead of the February 25 presidential election. Dalong, who is also a candidate for the House of Representatives seat in Plateau State, said it will be treasonable for Adebayo to contemplate stepping down from the presidential race as he is in it to win. The Ogun State Command of the Nigerian Immigration Service has intercepted 33 illegal migrants from 2 locations in Odeda local government area of the state. Parading the suspect at the command's office along the Presidential Boulevard in the state capital, the State Controller of Immigration, Yakubu Jibrin, said the suspects are without valid travel documents and no means of livelihood, while asking members of the public to be more vigilant, especially in face of the current security situation in the country. He, however, promised that the suspects are to be repatriated back into the countries of origin after due consultation with their countries. 32 of the suspects are Chadians, while 1 is a Togolese. The Nigerian military says it is working to restore relative sanity and peace in Zamfara, Sokoto, Katsina, and the Kebbi State in northwest Nigeria. The force commander, Operation Hadarin Daji, and General Officer Commanding GOC in Division of the Nigerian Army, Sokoto, Major General Uwembasi, stated this while during the inauguration of 1 Brigade Officers' Mess in Gusau, the Zamfara State capital. The report.
Zamfara State in northwest Nigeria is one of the states where the military is carrying out an ongoing war against terrorists, unleashing terror on innocent citizens. It is against this backdrop that the Force Commander Operation Hadarin Daji reminded officers and soldiers that they are in Zamfara, Sokoto, Katsina, and Kebbi State, waging what he called as military warfare to ensure peace and sanity return to the full state. He says the reconstruction of the officers' mess is paramount to troops in operation because as they engage in war against terrorists, they need to rest and relax, refresh and rejuvenate to be fit to continue with the warfare.
The relocation of 1 brigade from Sokoto to Zamfara State necessitated the brigade to take over ownership of the mess. Several efforts have been made by my predecessors, especially the immediate past brigade commander, Brigadier General Ayo Olatunji, to reconstruct and remodel the mess, which is generally considered as the second home of an officer, where officers do unwind and socialize. Upon my assumption of office as the brigade commander in January this year, in an effort to show up the morale and well-being through provision of a conducive working environment for officers of the brigade, I considered it imperative to complete what my predecessors had already begun.
The commander of 1 brigade of the Nigerian Army, Gusau, Brigadier General Kaius Baushe, said plans are underway to construct befitting challenge where Army officers on transit can lodge, as well as the renovation of barracks to sustain the intervention strides of the brigade, in line with the Chief of Army Staff's vision to have professional army ready to carry out its responsibility.
Operation Hadarin Daji, which headquarters is here in Gusau, Zamfara State, is fully into the business of asymmetric warfare, doing all it takes to make sure that relative sanity and peace return to the land of not only Zamfara State, but all the other 3 states, Sokoto, Katsina, Kebbi, that form part of A Division area of responsibility.
The general officer commanding the Nigerian Army Sokoto, Major General Wembese, charged officers to make good use of the mess, stressing that the stress of warfare, if not well managed, could be counterproductive.
And in a disturbing development, the father of a minor who was sexually abused has demanded justice for her daughter. The incident, which happened in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, involves a 4-year-old girl allegedly defiled by her school teacher. The father, Hassan Dala, at a press briefing in the NUJ Press Center, said that his daughter, a student of Golden Olive School, complained of being defiled by her school teacher named Zara. While explaining that the case is already with the state CID, which has custody of the child, he lamented the delay of justice after a medical report has been released, proving his daughter has been defiled. Meanwhile, the Borno State Police Command's Public Relations Officer Sani Shatambaya, in a phone call, confirmed the incident and said that the police are still investigating the case.
On the 11th of this month, my daughter complained of pains and flow of blood when urinating. So my wife took her to the hospital at Miyetti Clinic. The doctor said she had forced penetration. She told us that her auntie in school molested her. We reported to the police and she was, but since the incident happened, the school management have never paid me a visit to apologize. They only call me on phone, and I've been the one buying drugs to treat my daughter. All I want is the world to know that I want the police to do what is expected, because the state governor has enacted a law for such offense. So I want justice.
Seriously, the police is doing thorough and objective investigation on the matter. And the moment we are done with our investigation, we will send it to the DPP for advice and recommendation, after which we will take it out for further action. When we are done with our investigation, the thorough investigation, our investigation is very objective. We will make it known to the people when it is over, and we will take all necessary actions.
The elder brother of a 200-level dentist student of Sultan Abdulrahman College of Health Technology, Wadabawa in Sokoto State, Lukman Malami, who was killed last Sunday by his friends and other students of the college over phone theft allegation, says that they were initially told their brother was killed by unknown men who dumped his body by the roadside. The brother, Sanusi Malami, while speaking to Trust TV, said it was later that they discovered that their brother was killed by his fellow students, including his closest friends. The Public Relations Officer of Sokoto Police Command, Sanusi Abubakar, who confirmed the incident, said 5 out of the 8 suspected killers have been arrested. Abubakar added that they will be charged to court as soon as they conclude their investigation.
They brought him to us last Sunday around 10 a.m. and told us that one Okada man came to their house to report that the body of one student was lying by the roadside with his hands tied. We rushed him to Usman Danfodio University Teaching Hospital, but the management of the hospital insisted on inviting the police first. When the police came, the 3 students told them that the bandits killed him. But when the police asked if they informed the school authorities or any nearest police station before bringing him to his family, they said no. Pressed further, one of them ran away, and the police arrested the remaining 2 and notified the Gwadabawa police station, who went to the house and arrested another 3 suspects. Later, a student who knew what happened went and reported to the student union government. He told them that the arrested students connived with their friends who came from the city and tortured my brother to death on the allegation that he stole a phone from their room. We are sad because 2 of my brother's friends who have confessed to the crime were involved in his death.
2 policemen were reportedly injured on Saturday when a truck crashed into 2 vehicles in the convoy of Governor Ahmadu Fintiri of Adamawa State. Reports say that the incident occurred shortly after the governor and some of his commissioners boarded a black Mercedes after a wedding at Aga Mosque in the Dugari area of Yola, the state capital. The truck driver ran into the governor's convoy at a speed so high, suggesting that the driver may have lost control. Security operatives and officers controlling traffic scampered for safety before the situation was arrested. The governor, however, came out unhurt and personally rebuked the driver before leaving the scene. You're watching the news update. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at how Nigerians adopt diverse saving strategies to cushion economic hardship. Details of that story and more after the break. Do stay with us.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. You're still watching the news update. But before we continue, a recap of our top stories. We told you that APC presidential candidate, hopeful of block votes from 4 northern states, promises equal opportunities for all Nigerians at Lagos and mega rally. And the immigration intercept 33 illegal migrants from Chad and Togo in Ogun. And moving on to other news, the Sultan of Sokoto, Saad Abubakar III, has called on the federal government to permanently resolve its lingering dispute with the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, to avoid further strikes. He made the remark over the weekend in Maiduguri, and various arms of the ASU have been staging demonstrations to protest federal government's pro rata payment of the October salaries, while some have taken certain decisions that will affect the academic calendar to the detriment of students. The Sultan called on Nigerian leaders to make the people the priority in all aspects of governance, emphasizing that deliberate efforts should be made to ensure that students were not denied education.
So when you're talking of private schools and public schools, you have to also talk to the teachers. Because I've been involved with ASU negotiations in the last 15 years, Because it's not just right. You can dialogue and have what you think is right for you by talking to one another. But keeping the children at home, if I have money, I'll take them out to anywhere. And they will go to school. So let's not blame people not taking their children to private schools. But what is happening now? Others are no longer being made priority. Our kids come out of school without any knowledge of any other thing, except that paper that you have passed school, you have passed this, you have passed that. So it's the fault of our educational curriculum. Because just 2 days ago, I was in Abuja. We are bringing back history into our curriculum. And I was telling about that. And I said, how can we now, not knowing our past, how can we know the present, then chart our future? And that's why we have so many challenges now, because people don't even know this, like I said earlier. The origin of man, people don't know anything about it, because they refuse to read his books or what he has written.
Now to Gombe State, where residents there are diversifying their means of earning and saving income to make up for the dwindling revenues in the country and adjust to the current economic realities. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail speaks to a section of women and entrepreneurs in Gombe on the traditional asusu, a homemade reserve for people in the northern part of the country, and other means of savings to cope with the rising cost of living in the country. The report.
Rukaiya Muhammad is a housewife and an entrepreneur. She is into tailoring, cattle rearing, and other household businesses. Rukaiya said she deploys various forms of savings to enable her survive the current economic condition in the country. She is saying, in addition to tailoring, she also do other businesses like selling cloth materials and make dresses for children and women and sell furniture materials.
Idan na sa a kudin da nake samu nakan kasa kashi uku. Daya
I used to divide my income into three. I support my family, save in the bank, and use the remaining to feed my animals.
Ina dan saya musu abinci na ukunsa. Shine abun da nake sarrafawa.
With the present technological advancement, many women entrepreneurs are saving their earnings in banks, in addition to monthly savings, popularly known as adashi, in the northern part of the country. I do adashi with my earnings and invest the money back to my tailoring business. This has been the practice. I deposit my money in the bank and invest the rest in my business. I save some amount in the bank, invest in my henna business, and use the rest at home. From the testimonies of these women, it is evident that most of them engage in various forms of business and save their income in banks, while others engage in adashi, a method of saving money by a group of people. However, the culture of saving in asusu appears to have faded away. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail, reporting for Trust TV.
In order to bridge a huge deficit between their salary and the persistent increase in the price of goods and services, civil servants in Kaduna are engaging in cooperatives, adashi, and other forms of contribution to cushion the effect of the high cost of living in them. They say this is the only way to sustain their families, as salaries cannot sustain them. The report.
With the rising cost of living, salary earners are not finding it easy to sustain their lives. Hence, they resort to alternative sources to augment their earnings.
Our salaries cannot even take us home as civil servants because the nature of the salary is not reasonable, and compared to the economic situations we are facing now, there is high cost of commodities in the market.
Even the economy, things have gotten high, but our salary, there is no any increase in the salary. We have to be managing. You see, some people cannot take care of their homes, they cannot pay school fees, they cannot even take care of their homes.
What is obtainable in local government, despite the fact that we are having the same grade level, the same whatever with other staff, with our colleagues in the same government, our salaries differs. Now that we are facing economic challenge, whereby your take-home pay cannot cater for your needs at the end of every month. In fact, what you usually used to purchase or procure items, commodity for your house after salary before cannot cater for it now.
They have come to the reality that their take-home pay, as is commonly said in Nigeria, cannot take them home. With this reality, looking beyond the salary has become imperative to survive.
And that contribution is very important because it's based on that contribution you can manage yourself, as I've earlier said. Because without the contribution, your salary cannot do it.
By the time you venture into cooperative in your office, you tend to benefit from so many things. It helps a lot because it will prevent you from going to places looking for funds to maybe solve your problem.
This cooperative has helped me a lot because I could remember when my wife was hospitalized and I needed about 400 and something thousand to cater for the medical bill. But at the end of the day, I have no option than to go to the cooperative, of which I got up to 300,000 to solve that situation.
For other households in Kaduna, the will of God is their last hope, as they constantly make supplications to God to provide their daily need via any legitimate source.
We are only survived by the grace of God. What we do not expect now, that is what we normally see every day by day. And then you cannot borrow the little one, you manage to survive with your family.
Maximizing spending and exploring additional sources of income is what households in Kaduna believe will reduce the biting effect of the economy. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
And away from Nigeria, Ukraine on Saturday accused Russia of using the same genocidal tactics that it used against it in the 1930s under Joseph Stalin, as Kyiv commemorates a Soviet-era famine that left millions of Ukrainians dead during the winter of 1932 to 1933. The head of Ukraine's police said at least 32 people in the southern Ukrainian region of Kherson has been killed by Russian shelling since pro-Moscow forces pulled out 2 weeks ago. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky hosted a summit in Kyiv on Saturday to promote its Grain from Ukraine initiative to export grain to countries most vulnerable to famine and drought. The Ukrainian leader said the plan demonstrated that global food security was not just empty words for Kyiv. The Kremlin has said that the Ukraine's Black Sea export during the war have not been reaching the most vulnerable countries. Zelensky said Kyiv had raised around $150 million from more than 20 countries and the European Union to export grain to countries including Ethiopia, Sudan, South Sudan, Somalia, and Yemen. And that brings us to the end of the news update at this hour. For more, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Martia Umar. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.